competition. A single point for Watsonians today, in any kind, whether it's a losing bonus point, a victory or a try bonus point will do if they are to secure home advantage in their third, fourth playoff place encounter against Stirling County next Saturday. And here is a final look at this afternoon's lineups as both coaches shuffle their packs on this ultimate weekend of action. Fergus Pringle hands FOSROC Super6 debuts to hugely promising Edinburgh youngsters Matt Curry and Ben Muncaster, both of whom make their first professional outings last season. Rhys Cullen starts ahead of Rowan Frostwick at scrum half, while Cal Davis is in for the very impressive Ross Graham at hooker, and workhorse Carol Main returns to the back row. It's no surprise to see the Bulls heavily rotating their squad, with a place in that final already well and truly in the bag. Only 6 starters from last week's fine win over their final opponents, Southern Knights, to retain their berths here at Myerside. One of them is Tom Everard, and he has now started all 10 Super 6 games this season. Jordan Lynette captains the side with try machine and skipper Blair McPherson on the bench. Elias Caban cuts some devastating running lines, and watch out for young Finlay Callaghan, the Scotland under-20 winger, who scored a double for the Bulls just across the road from Myerside at Megatland against Boroughmuir Bears. Plenty ammunition on both benches this afternoon. Watch out for number 16 Blair McPherson. He's not a hooker, but I think the hooker's jersey fits him rather more snugly than the traditional back row number. 28 tries already for the Bulls captain. Christian Townsend, very promising young fly-half, son of Scotland coach Gregor, and Gavin Lowe in line for his first outing of the season. The Scotland Sevens international fit again following some long-term injury issues. Angus Hoffey, a young man on the cusp of Watsonians FOSROC Super 6 debut, a George Watson schoolboy who's a late addition to the home bench, and some South African muscle in the form of Quagga van Niekerk and Mark Morrison, both of whom are Scottish qualified. It's a crisp grey afternoon here in Scotland's capital as we gaze out over Pentlands, and alongside me a man who played many games for Edinburgh over the years, Graham Beveridge. Where do you see this one being won and lost as we wait for the teams to emerge?
Well, I think like all games it's going to be won or lost up front. Ayr obviously pride themselves on their set piece strength, and I'm pretty sure they'll be looking to establish some superiority there and launch the exciting back three that they've got out there this afternoon. It's
an interesting Ayrshire lineup. Pete Horn obviously shuffling his pack a little bit. Some guys have got a chance to really stake a claim for that final 23 next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's probably a bit of protecting some of the guys who've played a lot of rugby, but as you say, the boys who come in, they can put their hand up for selection next week. They'll be going out there to really put a marker down and make selection difficult for the coaches.
Yeah, for Watsonians, how important is it to go into the playoff with some momentum, with a victory that they've been waiting a month and a half for?
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? They obviously started the season with a bang and continued where they'd left off last year, but you know, confidence can come and go pretty quickly. So a good performance today, a victory will really set them up going into facing Stirling, and if they do that, they've got home advantage. They'll look to finish the season strongly.
Well, there is a hefty travelling contingent coming up the road from Millbrae to Edinburgh this afternoon, and the Ayrshire Bulls are brought out. A raucous backing from the main stand at Myerside. 5 victories in a row for Pat MacArthur's side, and they will look to go into next weekend's final with a bang. Such thunderous form, and having scalped their playoff opponents at Millbrae last weekend, this is very much the final opportunity for some of the men in that huddle to force their way into MacArthur and Horn's selection for that vital FOSROC Super 6 final at the Dam Health Stadium. It has been a very different story for Watsonians of late, as the home side enter the fray, led out by Angus Williams. 4 defeats on the spin. It's a grim run of form. They were one of the strongest sides in the inaugural campaign, But they did beat the Bulls back in early August, all the way back in the opening round of the season. And they will be itching to right some wrongs and book themselves a home playoff next weekend. Today's referee overseeing proceedings is Keith Allen, qualified doctor. There he is, peering over the shoulder of George Thornton, and rather a large shoulder it is. And he has refereed at the URC, formerly Pro 14 level, in recent seasons. Here we go then. The final match of the FOSROC Super 6 is underway, and it's an inauspicious start for Sam Daly and the home team. And that's a big error from Watsonians right from the kick-off, Graham.
Yeah, we talked about building confidence and momentum, didn't we, through the game. Just taking his eye off that, trying to do the second thing before he got the first thing right. So an early opportunity from Ayr to assert some dominance in the set piece.
Okay.
Yeah, two player of the match displays this season. Sam Daly, very powerful number 8 forward with English Championship experience under his belt. That disallowed try last weekend against the Boroughmuir Bears as well, and that is an uncharacteristic error that has handed the Bulls fabulous attacking platform. Do have a monstrous pack, doing the best to turn the screw.
Okay, same scrum.
A late change to that visiting front row as well, bending down and sorting out the studs as the hulking figure of Rory Sace, the tight head prop, comes in for Calvin Henderson, who's not fit to play today.
Both sides. Same scrum.
And I reckon he's one of the heftiest players in the FOSROC Super 6, Rory Sace.
No.
Scrummaging opposite young Sam Grahamslaw, Graham, who is a player you've seen come through the ranks and has really caught the eye recently.
Yeah, he's a really big man, Sam. He's learning his trade in the front row. He moved forward from number 8. But yeah, huge man, huge physical potential. It's great to see him out there.
It's a fine platform for the Bulls, and Lanat whips it away to Bobby Beattie. Minogue to Cavan, they work the overlap well. There's a good tackle coming in there from Harvey Elms, and Don Kutzer looks to have pinched it for Watsonians, and they have the penalty, and that's a big defensive set off first phase.
Stay up, please.
And after the error from Sam Daly, Graham, how important was it that Watsonians kept their defensive shape there and made that tackle on that turnover?
Yeah, hugely important. As we say, they've won the penalty. They can now look to build an attack. But Ayr actually looked as if they'd created the overlap. As you say, it was a great defence, was it? Kutsia, I think, came in, made a good decision, made a great tackle, and managed to win the turnover.
Yeah, Don Kutzer, formerly of Gloucester, in fact, the very versatile Watsonians back. Made a few senior appearances for the Cherry and Whites. And now first throw for Cal Davis, in for Ross Graham this weekend, and he hits Michael Badenhorst. Main spins away, but it's loose, and that will frustrate Fergus Pringle. A little bit sloppy through Watsonians' hands in these early stages. Cullen. It's very good footwork. Powerful charge from Scott King. Williams, the captain. Scottish qualified New Zealander. And Cullen just looks to probe in behind Finlay Callaghan, and that's a well-weighted kick from the scrum half.
Yeah, Watsonians will be pleased just to go through a few phases there. Ayr defended really well, they weren't making much ground, so good decision from Rhys Cullen just to put the ball in behind, make Ayr play out their own 22.
There is young Rhys Cullen. Spent some time with Bristol Bears, having left the the embrace of Edinburgh Rugby. A little bit of time with Doncaster in the Championship as well. Now working as a landscape gardener.
Leave your leg.
When not taken to the paddock for Watsonians. The line-out functions well for the Bulls, as it has done for the vast majority of this season.
When you're ready, yeah.
Jordan Lanack, the Glasgow Warrior, fishes it out and makes a solid clearing kick from a tight angle.
Thank you.
It's a difficult skill, that, Graham, as a former scrum half yourself, when the angle's against you, the weather's not great, your pack's at the platform, but it's hard to make that kind of yardage off a box kick.
Yeah, he didn't have a huge angle to work with there, so as you say, getting it right, you want to try and get enough distance that you take the pressure off, but you don't want to necessarily kick too far and give them an easy opportunity to counter-attack, so that was a good kick.
Bulls don't contest and Badenhorst wins it, but it's a sloppy pass from Cullen and Joe Reynolds. There's Bulls all over him like an advanced rash. This is Louis Ball, the German under-18 international. Williams once more tips it on to Graham Slaw. 6'4", 120 kilos. Massive young specimen. Reynolds away to King. Very well met by Roddy Jackson, who one of the exciting young FOSROC Academy players aligned to Glasgow in this Ayrshire side. Watsonians keep it tight. Now perhaps a chance to inject some razzle-dazzle, but there's a massive tackle coming in. A huge hit from Ryan Sweeney, who does put himself about so well for the Bulls. Reynolds drops one on Aaron Tate, who has some fiendish footwork. And it's been spilled by Lanack.
Again, Ayr defending really well on the gain line. Watson's going through the phases, and a good decision, you know, not going anywhere. Let's put the ball behind him, ask Ayr to play out, and then manage to force a mistake.
Okay, lads.
Yeah, there was some big defence in amongst all of this, with Ryan Sweeney coming in there. And he's been such an impressive performer for Ayrshire Bulls this season, playing at 8 instead of 6 with McPherson on the bench today. But he's such a workhorse, isn't he, Graham?
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of guy you want in the trenches with you. Physical, as you say, works hard, and that was an absolute great shot.
The back row with an old school headband always looks like a pretty tough specimen.
Crouch.
And Ryan Sweeney has been just that this campaign.
Set.
It's a real physical battle between Graham Slaw and Sace on the Watsonians' loose head sides.
Use it now, yeah. It's there.
At the moment, the ball is stuck in a forest of meaty legs. Daly to Cullen. Reynolds. It's loose again, and once more these first phase manoeuvres just a little bit astray from a Watsonian's point of view. Reynolds will try and launch something himself between the two props. Thornton and Sace cut him down. Main to Daly. And a big hit coming in. Cullen, the little snipe. Sweeney's all over him. Main. Reynolds, again the handling is really wayward from Watsonians. It's 3 or 4 times that fairly simple looking passes have been fumbled to the deck, and this time Ayrshire Bulls will have the scrum.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, that'll be frustrating for the Watsonians coaches in the stands. I'm sure they've trained really well all week, and is it a little bit of nerves or a little bit lack of concentration, just little errors at the moment which are letting Ayr off the hook.
Do you think that's symptomatic of the fact they're on a 4-game losing run? There might be little things that are just creeping into their play, a little bit of urgency, almost forcing things?
Yeah, I think that's bound to play a part, and confidence, as we said earlier, is such a fickle thing. That they'll have wanted to start positively, which they're trying to play positively, but these little mistakes just nag away at you and stop you getting a real foothold in the game.
Set.
It's a much better Watsonian shunt at that scrum, and Cullen just blocks off the passing lane of Lanack. Beattie straightens well. Scotland 7's international. Manny looking for support. He's met in a massive crash of muscle in midfield. Lanac looking for the 50-22. It is well covered by Kutzer.
Stop, Red, stop! Oh no.
Matthew Minogue, the young Australian pivot, has plenty of time to pick his spots. And that's a fine clearing kick from Minogue.
And I think it's fair to say both defences are on top at the moment. Ayr that time going through some phases between the 10s and opting to kick in behind to turn Watsons. And then, as you say, a really good clearance kick by Matt Minogue there to push Watsonians back onto their own 10-metre line.
Yeah, former Bond University student in Queensland, Matt Minogue is Scottish qualifying through appearance.
Nine, you stay there, okay?
An all-Australian halfback pairing today between himself and Jordan Lanac. Badenhorst again is the target at the line-out for Davis. This time it's Watsonians trying to use their brawn, punch a hole in this Bulls defence. The best defence in the FOSROC Super 6. Cullen goes to the skies. Brilliant take from Aaron Tates. There's a wrestle backwards in the tackle by Muncaster. Thundering through goes Tanner. Minogue. It's like a game of chess with very large pieces at the moment. A lot of kicking, a lot of very good defence.
Okay, stop.
Audrey Tanner leading the kick chase on Reynolds. This is awkward. Lanac lets it bounce. BT back with him.
Retire. Stop.
Scuff kick through the middle. It's a little bit awkward for Rhys Cullen. Nutmegged by his opposite number. Here he goes. Injection of pace. Good hands as well. And away come Watsonians. This is better. Broken field attack. And the kick and chase from King. The race is on with Elias Cavan, who has serious wheels and is fast enough to dot down for the goal line dropouts.
Yeah, Rhys Cullen did really well. He fumbled initially in the backfield, but then, you know, he's very quick. He's got great feet. Managed to get on the outside shoulder, and then good hands through Matt Curry to Scott King, and Elias Cavan, I would say, just quick enough to get back and cover that.
On the 5, please.
Yeah, came through the prolific rugby nursery that is Hartpury College, Elias Cavan, and he has got some gas. Formerly of the Bristol Bears Academy as well. Still, territorial gain for Watsonians, and Daly drop the shoulder and thunder through midfield. Wonderful slaloming run by Daly, and he will not be stopped. There's the spark this game needed. There's the dynamism injected by the hulking Sam Daly. And the English number 8 gobbles up his 5th try of the season, and Graham, he picked a wonderful line through the straggling kick chase here.
Yeah, you know, he saw space, attacked it at pace, which is all important. A little bit of footwork onto a weak shoulder, and you know, he's through. I think Ayr will be disappointed with the kick chase there. They probably wouldn't expect to concede that easily, but when you got a big man running at that speed, often difficult to stop.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a time of things over the past few years. Sam Daly had a pretty nasty neck injury that involved some nerve damage and a really extensive rehab process a couple of years ago. Joe Reynolds not perturbed by the rather interesting hoot of the PA system. Dinks over the conversion, and Watsonians have some rewards for their early graft. They lead 7-0.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if that just settles the nerves. You know, we've talked about Watson's having in that first 12 minutes or so that they've got in front. Can they just settle it down now and try and push Ayr back into their own half again and try and control the game for the next 5-10 minutes?
Yes, it is a much changed Ayrshire Bulls side.
Okay, stop, Red.
Of course, a couple of debutants in Watsonians ranks as well. Muncaster and Curry coming in from the pro ranks at Edinburgh Rugby. As Cavan clears, not the best of touches.
Captain, we need to
chance for Watsonians to come again.
In front of the kicker, they stop completely.
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about there. Watsonians take the kick off clearly. Great kick from Joe Reynolds, puts Ayr back in the 22, and you know, they start from a set piece on the Ayr 10-metre line.
Sam Daly, once he breached that first wave of Bulls chasers, There was no stopping him. 8th appearance of the season, 5th try, very impressive stats. Here come Watsonians again through Big Ben Muncaster. Just lances through the Ayrshire defence. Ball takes the run a little bit further.
Available, play on.
Reynolds. This is Curry to King. Lanny and Beattie scrag him. Cullen, gaps appearing around the fringes. Davis spins through one of them, but
Time off.
some tackle off the ball, I think, from Tanner.
Are you okay now? Yeah.
It was a late hit, I think, from Roger Tanner on Rhys Cullen. Let's listen to Keith Allen here and see what he says.
He's come in to make a legal tackle. He's this guy slipped. For me, there's no foul play involved. We're going to start with the scrum, okay? Yeah. There's no foul play there, lads. It's just a slip by your 9. We're going to give you the scrum, okay? It's not. There's no foul play. He slipped into the tackle. It's a scrum.
Yeah, it'll be interesting just to watch it back here. I mean, the interest for me, Rhys Cullen again, really sharp off the base of the ruck, using some footwork to attack defenders, which he does really well.
Yeah, here he comes. He's fallen into the Tanner set to make the hits, loses his footing, and it's one of these really unfortunate rugby incidents, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's good refereeing, isn't it? Clearly no malice, and obvious there that Rhys Cullen's slipping as the tackle comes in.
And you potentially get an advantage from being in front of the kicker. It's not. It's just we don't do it. Yeah. We can have a debate after, but that's the way it is. That's very kind, thank you.
Lovely interaction between Keith Allen and Jordan Lanack. You would never have done that as a scrum half, would you, Graham? Getting in the ear of the referee?
As often as possible, I think.
Even worse when the scrum half's the captain. And the referee's got to listen to him sometimes. What will Pat MacArthur watching at home? He's not well this week, we understand. He's not able to be here, so Pete Horn taking sole charge of the Bulls coaching this afternoon. What will Pat MacArthur be thinking of besides start to this as he watches on?
Yeah, I think he'll be a bit frustrated by the try, certainly. As I said, they wouldn't have expected to concede so softly from a goal line drop. But otherwise, I don't think there's been too much in the game. Both teams kind of trying to win that territorial battle, and Watson's slightly on top at the moment, but I don't think he'll be panicking just yet. He'll just look for them to slowly build their way into the game and start to apply their own pressure.
Some running repairs for Tom Lanny, Scotland under 20 centre. He is fit to continue, and he on his side has some defending to do here.
Bind. Set. Stand up, yeah.
Again, the secondary shunt comes on from Watson's. The Bulls pack not shifting. Cullen away to Reynolds. And for Curry. Can't get outside Tom Lanny. It's a great battle between two huge prospects in the Scotland age grade midfield. Another big carry from Ball. Cullen looks sharp. Reynolds with the dummy. Can he free the hands? Oh yes. Inside to King, who scrambled past a couple of tacklers, and he's under the posts. Fabulously worked try for Watsonians, and they have the second 5-pointer of the game through their marauding centre. How important was that offload there from Joe Reynolds, Graham, but also just that little step and pace taken by Cullen?
Yeah, the offload's obviously all important, isn't it? Reynolds got onto an outside shoulder, just got in behind. Really good support line from Scott King, and showed great strength. I mean, again, I think he'll be disappointed with the tackling there, but nothing to take away from Scott King. Good strength, good footwork to get over.
Okay, thanks. No problem.
Reynolds, the architect of the try, successful from the tee once more. And it's a commanding early lead for the home sides as they look to secure home advantage in next week's 3rd, 4th place playoff. And here's that ball again, Graham. Will be disappointed with the tackling there?
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed in the initial tackle on Reynolds, and then probably a couple of opportunities to stop Scott King. He rang strongly, but they'll be disappointed with the tackles that are missed.
Speaking of disappointments, second restart guddled by Sam Davis. It's come off a Watson's player, so it will be a penalty to the Bulls. And immediately after conceding, that Minogue can stab the Millbrae men into the corner and give them a chance to hit straight back.
Let's go here. There's your mark, mate, on that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's an instant reaction, isn't it, from Louis Ball to play it like that, but it is offside. And you know, Ayr just the kind of opportunity Ayr are looking for here to really start to get their front five in the game, dominate the set piece, and I'd be surprised if they're not driving this one.
Well, the throw squints. Tom Everard catching that way over his outside shoulder. That is a big let-off for Watsonians. It's not the sort of error, with a much changed pack we're accustomed to seeing from Ayrshire Bulls. Set piece normally an area of such strength. Watsonians for now off the hook.
Nice and straight three. Nice and straight. Just on my left. Just on my left.
Sammy, you got hard.
So Graham Slaw, Davis and Williams against Thornton, Tanner and Sace.
Set.
George Thornton's been on the hair dye this week, it seems.
Stay on side, please.
Thrusting that Barman forwards into the shoulder of the Watsonians captain. And this time Daly breaks. Cullen is charged down and Sweeney can't take it. Oh, the line was beckoning for the Bulls number 8. Just let it slip through his hands.
Yeah, I think Rhys Cullen will be breathing a sigh of relief there. I mean, the scrum's a really interesting battle at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll let you match once they're in, okay? We'll let
he did the hard work, Ryan Sweeney, and he perhaps was going to run into touch anyway, but...
Yeah, there was anguish on his face though, wasn't there?
Circus juggling acts from Ryan Sweeney. Both number 8s having difficulty keeping hold of the ball at the moment.
Once!
Safely gathered at the line out by Watsonians. And extricate themselves from their own corner. It's a very good maul. Cullen has a bit more space to work in. And here come the Bulls on the counter. Elias Caven relishes these broken field opportunities. He's wrapped up well by the chasers. BT fights through that first contact really well, Bobby BT. Now Tanner. And the start ahead of Alex Maguire this weekend. There's Minogue. It's a little bit loose. Finlay Callahan looking for work. Finding only a wall of red and white jerseys. Caven snipes around the base. Where did he come from? But he snipes on his own. And the cleaners are too slow. Watsonians gobble up the penalty.
It's symptomatic, of Ayer's attack so far. Not really able to get the big runners in the game. Not winning the game line at the moment, and unfortunately there Caven saw a little bit of a gap, but Ben Munkus very quickly on the ball, and he's a big man to get out of the way once he's clamped over it.
Joe Reynolds has drilled that punt into the Bulls 22. Lovely strike with the left foot.
On that, please.
Again, Watsonians occupying some prime real estate as the final quarter ticks to a close. Joe Reynolds is such a clever rugby player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got lots and lots of experience, hasn't he? He's been round the block a lot of times, and he can just sit in the pocket there, control the pace of the attack, and as we've seen at the moment, kick very, very effectively to manage the field position.
Pressure on Davis' throw. Main has to go back and salvage. He runs the arc, but Minogue scythes him down. Here's Muncaster. He'll take some scything straight through Sweeney. Cullen on front foot ball. He can be dangerous now. Sweeney gets him. Watsonians flexing their attacking muscle in a way we haven't seen too often over the past few rounds. Cullen, Reynolds to King. Tackle coming in from Rory Jackson. Cullen goes blind. Reynolds pops it over the top, and it went forwards. It was a fumble rather than a kick. Harvey Elms denied another try.
Let's go, boys.
See what he's trying to do there. Looks caught between dummying and passing, trying to almost go over the top and through the tackle, isn't he?
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate, but I think just at the moment Watsonians seem to be winning the gain line battle. They're getting over the gain line with the big runners, just making or stressing the air defence a little bit more than when Ayr have got the ball. So Ayr will be looking to address that, try and get off the line a bit quicker, cut Watsonians down before they win that gain line.
Yeah, it helps of course when you're bringing in the likes of Muncaster, who's just punched holes in the defensive line a couple of times now. Sweeney breaks, looks to launch a hook of his own. Look at this from Ryan Sweeney, fantastic bullocking run from the Bulls 8, not to be outdone by his age grade rival, and he's won his side a penalty as well. Carl Main not releasing.
Yeah, it's an outstanding carry, isn't it? Scrum on your 5 metre line, you end up winning a penalty just inside your 10. Very, very dynamic, and I think Carl Main a little bit frustrated that he missed the initial tackle and perhaps a rash penalty he gave away when he got back to the breakdown.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Reynolds particularly fancied that collision, did he?
On the line, please. You boys. On the 10, please.
Some really interesting momentum shifts in this contest so far, Graham. We've had penalties, we've had really big territorial swings already.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, both teams still just struggling for consistency. I think they're both making mistakes they wouldn't ordinarily want to, and that's just taking the momentum away from each of them at different times.
Minogue hits Beattie. Callaghan, he's thrown the interception pass, and Matt Curry will take some stopping. Cavan is hunting him down like a cheetah, but he will not catch him. And that is opportunism personified by the young Edinburgh centre. Fit again and scoring again, and a brilliantly taken try for Watsonians.
Well, we've just talked about little mistakes, haven't we? And another one from Ayr. They again looked like they'd found some space on the outside, but I think it was maybe Rudy Smith actually read it brilliantly and just had enough pace to stay out of the clutches of Cavan, who was working really hard to try and cut him off.
Yeah, I do beg your pardon, Rudy Smith rather than Matt Curry with the try. Late addition to the Watsonian starting 15, the winger.
Sorry to hear about your injury.
He has got pace to burn. Held off the charge of Cavan really well.
Good man.
Reynolds from left of centre to go 3 from 3. He's just pulled it across the face. Watsonians almost earning a point a minute. 19-0 they lead.
And we just talked about momentum swings, didn't we? So Ayr set piece attack in Watsonians half. One error, 5 seconds later they're under the post, and it's just symptomatic, I've said before, of how the game seems to be going at the moment.
Yeah, real poacher's effort from Smith. Saw that all the way, and the pace to make it count.
Stay on side, lads.
It's been impressive stuff from Watsonians so far. Albeit this Ayrshire Bulls side, I would imagine, rather different to the one that will take on the Knights at the Dam Health Stadium next weekend in the final. Thornton, former Glasgow Warrior and Wasps prop. Everard's ever presence in the Bulls' second row this season. Minogue gets himself with Cavan on his shoulder. That's a brilliant turnover. I think it was Muncaster clamped over the ball. Here's Louis Ball. And Rudy 6 wins the penalty for the Bulls.
Yeah, great turnover first of all by Ben Muncaster, but Sace did really well very shortly thereafter. Watsons were a little bit muddled just behind the breakdown, and a great turnover to allow Minogue to stick it in the corner again, allow Ayr to apply some pressure.
They were down here just a few minutes ago. 7 points later, they're back again. This time on the opposite touchline. As you can see at the top of your shot, Rudy Sace takes some shifting once he gets clamped over ball. He's a big old unit. Tanner's throw was squint. the position last time. Not on this occasion. Everard, grateful recipient. And the Bulls look to mount this deadly rolling maul of theirs. Watsonians shunt it back well. Linac, spilled by Lanny. It has gone forwards. Watsonians have a freebie to play away. Cullen, off he goes. Wonderful feet from the scrum half. And a great big blasting run. And Watsonians could be away here again. The kick over the top. Elms in hot pursuit, the 7 specialist. He's caught it. Oh, wow. That is devastating. It's wonderful champagne rugby from Watsonians. And they go from coast to coast to wrap up the bonus point score inside half an hour.
Absolutely unbelievably opportunistic try. Turnover, symptomatic of the way Ayr have been playing. Another mistake in the Watsons 22, but Rhys Cullen, we've talked about already, using some good footwork to attack defenders. Fantastic line from Matt Curry, who showed great strength to break a couple of tackles, and then the vision to put the kick ahead for Harvey Elms. The bounce of the rugby ball can be kind sometimes, and it bounced up very nicely for him to go over.
A glorious rugby from Watsonians. Harvey Elms helps himself to a 3rd try of the campaign. He has got 21 caps for Scotland Sevens, 31 tries on the World Series circuit. He took that one very well indeed. But there you see the quality of Matt Curry as well, Graham. Someone Watsonians haven't been able to use this season up until now.
Yeah, just returned from injury, I think, but you know, he's an exciting young player. He's tall, he's powerful, he's quick, and you know, showed a great touch there, didn't he, with the boot to spot Harvey Elms on the inside, and then have the ability to put the ball in the right place.
Reynolds wayward again from the tee, but the lead continues to grow at a rate of knots. This kick here from Curry is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Harvey was screaming for the ball on the inside, but you know, the ball just sat up absolutely perfectly for him, and a great big grin on his face as he goes over.
Watsonians firmly in command as we approach the half-hour mark. It's not been a one-sided affair either. The Bulls have had their opportunities, they've had field position, they haven't had the precision to convert those into points. Cullen wants to move it, gets the call from Reynolds that there could be a chance to counter. Matt Curry again, Scott King chopped down by Matt Minogue. Referee rules he wasn't held in the tackle. Cullen to Main. Slips one tackle, slips a second. Reynolds, this time looking to probe the touchline, and he's put too much juice on it. Out on the full. The experienced pivot as he looked for the 50-22.
That was unlucky, wasn't it? That was, what, a yard away, a foot away from being a fantastic kick. Great communication, I think, from the Watsonians team to spot the overlap there. Got it into the wide areas, and you know, that could easily have been an 80-yard turnaround there. But little mistake from Reynolds here. Got another opportunity to build in the Watsonians half.
Everard wins for the Bulls. An act to BT at first receiver, and introducing Sweeney, who just barged through the Watsonians midfield, but there was a neck roll at that breakdown.
It's a neck roll.
Keith Allen has done really well to spot it. Cal Davis illegally removed from that rock. And again, another penalty, just as Ayrshire are on the front foot. Here it is, Graham.
Yeah, another good carry from Sweeney, I think, wasn't it? And it's, yeah, unfortunate, isn't it? He has got him round the head, though, and you know, the referee's right to pick that up, I think.
How frustrating will penalties, infringements, little handling errors be for the Bulls side and their coaches, because they've not been second best by a long way in this game.
No, as you said, they've had opportunities in the Watsons half, and just these little errors keep preventing you from building momentum. Give Watsons the ball back, give them field position. So the coaches will be, you know, really hoping, and the players who are out there, that they can just tidy that up a little bit and give themselves an opportunity.
Well, this is anything but tidy. Watson's lost the line out. Ayrshire knocked it on.
No advantage, always going backwards.
Going backwards at a rate of knots, so we will wander back over to the far touchline for a home scrum.
Here.
It's going back to that, we talked earlier about momentum in the game, and at the moment Ayr just not able to get any because of these little handing errors, the penalties, and they're just handing that momentum every time they get field position, handing it back to Watsons, who've taken advantage brilliantly.
There's your mark.
What do you make of the scrum battle so far, Graham? It's been hotly contested. Watsonians perhaps just with the edge so far?
I think so, nearly. I mean, I know pretty much nothing about scrummaging being a scrum.
I've stood beside an awful lot.
I've stood beside them, but yeah, it's a really intriguing battle, isn't it? 2 packs of 8 who don't want to give any ground. Great battle between Sace and Grahamslaw on that side, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes into the second half.
Sace buckling under the pressure from Grahamslaw. Clean ball for Watsonians, and another siding run through the middle. Helms looking to go all the way. It's a fantastic carry, just inches short, but surely the try will be scored by Carol Main. And Watsonians once more combusting to life in the Ayrshire 22, and Carol Main scores for the home side, and it's a 5th try before half-time.
We talked before the game, didn't we, about the strike power or the firepower that Ayr had in their back 3, but Harvey Elms and Rory Smith have been fantastic so far today. There's a great outside line by Harvey Elms, initially cut back inside, and then it was the speed of the ball really when he was tackled short. Ayr just didn't have time to get reset, and Carl Main's a big man to stop from a 1.5 yards out.
Yeah, apologies if you're picking up any foul language over the referee's mic. There are some very angry Ayrshire Bulls players within earshot of Keith Allen at the moment. 5 tries in the bag, and Harvey Elms at the heart of the last 2.
Thank you, Nick.
Reynolds out on the right. That's better. That's much better. 3 from 5 for the wily Kiwi pivots. And this run from Elms, Graham, was so crucial, so impressive.
Yeah, you can see his Sevens ability there, can't you? He got into open space, great footwork. He probably disappointed that he got dragged down just a yard short, but as we say, quick recycle and big men running hard onto the ball, a 1.5 yards out was inevitable to score.
The Ayrshire Bulls had only conceded 140 points in the 9 games prior to this one. Of course, MacArthur and Horn resting a lot of frontline players, but I think they expected to be trailing by quite so many points and tries. With only 35 minutes on the clock. And again, the kicking contest is won by the home side as Cavan is forced to knock it out. And away they go quickly, Watsonians. Curry lurking. Rory Smith. It's boot to ball. Cavan holds it. Curry takes him high. The Bulls will have the penalty.
Yeah, I think that's just a sign of the growing confidence in the Watsonians rank, isn't it? They could have opted to take the line out, but went quickly, trying to attack space, use the width of the field again, and Ayr at the moment are just struggling to cope with it.
Yeah, Rory Smith, scorer of that 3rd try on the intercept, has got blistering pace. Former Scotland under-20 international. Back in 2015 when he won his age grade caps. No Loman McPherson today, incidentally, a late withdrawal from the Watsonian starting 15, so in came Smith. He is doing a fine job. Place the left winger. Tanner Hart goes awry once more, taken by his opposite man Davis. Cullen just asks Muncaster to inject some dynamism into proceedings. Reynolds. Curry takes it on the bounce so well. Tried to force the offload through to Elms. It's gone forward into touch.
A little bit scrappy from both teams there. Ayr again will be disappointed that they've lost their own line out. And there's possibly a little bit of space out there for Matt Curry, but just unable to hold on in the tackle.
You're going to have the line out.
Yeah, he looks to have a big old future. Matt Curry made his Edinburgh debut late last season in the Rainbow Cup and was really impressive in the 3 professional outings that he managed. Still a very, very young man, only 20 years old. 6'3". He's got real speed and lovely footballing skill as well, as we saw with that kick through for Elms.
I'll find out.
Yeah, you'd say he's got everything, isn't he? He's got superb physical ability, as we've already talked about. Very balanced runner, quick, strong. And you know, he'll just slowly learn the game. Hopefully get some more game time for Edinburgh as the season wears on. And a really big prospect for Scotland in the years ahead.
You know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
What?
Shut up.
Okay, yeah, sounds good to me.
That ruck there though.
Yeah, but you see the ball.
What's been the difference so far in this first half game? Is it simply down to clinical nature? Is it down to ruthlessness? Watsonians taking their field position and scoring, Ayrshire Bulls not doing likewise with theirs?
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? As we say, Ayrshire Bulls have had field position. Every time they've got there, they made a simple mistake. Watsons have had maybe not such good starting positions, but you know, a missed tackle here, a good line there and a nice kick there, and you know, they've taken every opportunity they've been granted just about, whereas Ayr haven't really taken any of their opportunities so far.
Lee Miller there in the bobble hats, the grey hoodie in the back of your picture there. Watsonians leader very sadly suffered an injury earlier in the campaign. He's been unable to play for the majority of the FOSROC Super 6, but carrying the water and relaying the messages from Fergus Pringle. It's Finlay Callahan who's been down receiving some treatments for the Ayrshire Bulls, but he is, I'm pleased to say, back on his feet. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue, but it's good to see him at least able to walk from the field. Scotland under 20 international. A couple of tries against Boroughmuir just down the road from my side. Second Super 6 out. His race has been run. On comes another Scotland Sevens international, Gavin Lowe, for his outing of the season, just back from a long-term injury himself.
I didn't know if your sub was on.
He can certainly add some game-breaking pace and incision to this Bulls backline. It's a better line out from the visitors. It's Hamilton, Bulger, Gabbers. Tanner is the runner at the tail.
Three, stay there. Use it now.
Fallon has to order a few unruly Watsonians players out the way. They don't get out the way. Penalty Bulls.
Yeah, that was a better exit from the Bulls, wasn't it? Solid line out, set up the driving ball well. And they'll be pretty happy they managed to get the penalty, give Matt Minogue, kick them into the Watsons half and see if they can finish the first half with a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes to play. How important is it for Ayrshire Bulls to finish with a flourish in this first half?
Yeah, I think it'll be important for them, won't it? They're a little bit low in confidence at the moment. Nothing's really gone right so far. Yeah, and whether they can turn the whole game round at 31-0, at least if they can go into the break with a little bit of momentum, some points on the board, that'll make the half-time team talk a little bit easier, perhaps.
The lineup looks a little bit sharper now. Beattie once more is the option at first receiver. He's asked to just pierce through the Watsonians defensive line. Another penalty. Lanac wants to bring some speed into proceedings. Watsonians were back 10 according to the officials. Beattie fights forward again. Tanner, an overlap here, fast hands from Sweeney, well held by Bulger, gets rid of a couple of tacklers. The offload goes loose and hacked into touch by a covering Watsonians player. It's better from the Bulls though.
Yeah, Lanac just injected a bit of pace, didn't he, from the initial penalty, took it quickly and managed to get Ayr on the front foot, and some great hands up the line side, as you said, from forwards, and just unfortunate that offload didn't go to hand back on the inside.
Yeah, first time we've really seen Ewan Hamilton Bulger on the carry, with that man Ryan Sweeney riding side saddle. Hamilton Bulger, another Hartpury College product. He is in the line supporting Everard. This will take some stopping as the Bulls rev that big V8 engine of theirs and look to squeeze the way over the try line. They have the penalty advantage. Sweeney just short. And there was an illegal clear-out coming in there.
We're going back here for side entry at the mall.
So we'll just return to the mall offence. committed by Badenhorst.
Side entry number 5.
Yeah, good powerful drive again from there. Only way Watsons could stop it, probably illegally. He'll go back to the corner, and he'll be really desperate now to set up another good platform and get over for the 5 points as we close out the half.
Into the final seconds of this opening half. Last regular season match.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Hamilton Bulger takes. And this looks better from the Bulls as they try to exert that physical pressure on the Watsonians line.
Stay there, yeah, you're fine.
The home side hold up the initial shot, but for how much longer can they maintain the resistance? Lenac breaks the BT. Big standing choke tackle comes in.
No hands, leave it now.
Solid stuff from Watsonians at the breakdown.
Conjure Rock's good.
Can they turn it? Not quite. Another Ayrshire penalty. And Thornton goes quickly, burrowing for the line. Carol Main gets over the ball.
Use the line.
Still it's there for the Bulls. Lenac away. Another big carry, another big tackle. Sweeney goes himself and he gets it down. And right on half-time, after knocking at the door for 40 minutes, Ryan Sweeney and the Ayrshire Bulls batter it down. And they have something at last to show for their toil. It was patience, punishing carries from the Bulls. Watsonians held them out well initially, but then Sweeney low, good body position, rolled the tackle of Badenhorst. And he's been a really industrious competitor all afternoon. Matt Minogue chips through the extras and brings this first half of FOSROC Super 6 action to a close. It's been dominant from Watsonians. They've rattled up 5 tries and they have a very, very commanding lead as they head to the changing rooms at the interval. That's Watsonians 31, Ayrshire Bulls 7.
The TG one, I'm not sure. Does it need new batteries? They changed the channel just before kickoff, so it's worth checking. Yeah. Yeah, come on in here. Yeah, come on in. Check.
The half-time score was Watsonians 31, Ayrshire Bulls 7. You need to know that the final lineup for the FOSROC Super 6 games next weekend.
There you go. Thank you. Good. Beautiful. We can see the output, yes. Yeah, run it through. So this is obviously fast. Sam Bailey try first of all. Oh, he's quick, isn't he? Covers the ground pretty quick. And then there'll be a replay of that probably. Yeah, cool. He's just running through that, run through that. And it'll be Scott King.
Yeah.
Beautiful, amazing, cool. Replay of that. Rudy Smith next. Out in the wing there. Move, boom. Nice kick. Hold on, what's that?
It's just a charge down your speed.
Charge down, right? Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, so that's a chance for Venezuela. Yeah. And then interception. Okay. Cool.
Next, great try, the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kicking it. Cool. Good on there. This is Carl Main.
Stand slightly back.
Yep. Carl Main going over.
Just so you're not looking.
Fifth try,
Okay.
31 points is that at that point.
Is that fine now?
And then just at the break there. Right, Sweeney. I think they're from a COVID point of view, they want us to just go a wee bit further right. That's right. So, do you hear? Just checking you can hear me. Just checking you can hear me. It's Doogie. Check. Welcome back. What a half it's been here at Mireside. 6 tries, is that? I don't know, Graham. We've been talking about this before the game, and you mentioned that Ayrshire Bulls might be too strong for Watsonians today. Turns out it's the other way around so far.
Definitely the other way around. I mean, what do I know about rugby? But a fantastic performance from Watsonians. You know, we were talking about them looking to build some confidence going into next week. They've obviously already secured that point that they needed, so they'll get a home playoff next week, and they'll be delighted at half time.
And they flew out of the traps as well, didn't they? 4 minutes they got the first try.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a real powerful run, wasn't it? And you know, Ayr have had their chances throughout the half, haven't taken them, and Watsonians have really taken all of theirs.
They really have, and this one here, I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. Sam Daly going over, he's such a great, strong player with ball in hand, and just as he's been doing all season, just causing damage, and took a try very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ayr will be a little bit disappointed with the kick chase, but you know, he's a big man. He uses good footwork to find that space in the Ayr line, and then good speed. Once he's through there, he was never going to be caught.
Interestingly, you know, Ayrshire Bulls have been kind of priding themselves on their physicality and their ability to tackle and all that. A few times in the first couple of tries, from a Watsonians point of view, I mean, the Ayrshire Bulls will be frustrated with the tackling, perhaps.
Yeah, no, not perhaps. I think 100% as well. You know, the second one there, Scott King going over. You know, a good offload initially, and Scott King again ran hard, showed some good feet, but Ayr will definitely be disappointed with the tackling efforts for both of them.
They created a couple of chances there as well, you know, and I mean, early on in the game they were well down at this point. This is like a little kick chase through, and it was charged down there, almost in, frustrating, but the pressure was remaining on. It was 14-0 at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first 15-20 minutes the game was pretty even. Both teams had opportunities, had some field position, and Ayr will be disappointed with one or two of the maybe sloppy mistakes they made that let Watsonians off the hook.
Next up, Rudy Smith got in and scored a very fine try indeed as a result of an interception. Took it nicely.
Yeah, but it's symptomatic of what we were saying there. You know, Ayr had actually created an overlap, I think, but Rudy Smith, opportunistic, saw the long pass, got on there and had the pace to hold off Cavan and get over.
And he took it really well as well. It's that, I mean, wingers love that kind of stuff, don't they? It's in the basket and just go, pin the lugs back and off you go.
Yeah, I wish I had the pace to ping the lugs back like that when I played. But yeah, great pace by Rudy Smith, and Ayr again disappointed, I would think.
And the pressure carried on. Harvey Elms got the next one, and you were thinking, my goodness, is anything decent going to happen from an Ayrshire Bulls point of view?
Yeah, I mean, this was a great try. I think, you know, as we've talked about, it was an air mistake in the Watsons half. Rhys Cullen put Matt Curry through a little bit of a gap, and he showed great pace and strength to get into the air half, and the great vision to put the kick on a sixpence for Harvey Elms.
At that point, of course, Watsonians knew that they had got that point, so they knew they were going to get a home well, not semi-final, third versus fourth playoff, but still they kept the pressure. Carl Main going over for their fifth.
Yeah, Harvey Elms again was at the heart of this, wasn't it? It was a great outside break, step back on the inside, and it was the speed of the ball at this breakdown here that Ayr just couldn't get restructured in the defence, and Carl Main's a big man to keep out from a yard and a half.
He absolutely is. And just for the end of the half there, Ryan Sweeney threw a bit of a lifeline to Ayrshire Bulls after in a turgid first half from their point of view.
Yeah, they'd built a bit of pressure, hadn't they? So there were a couple of line-out drives which just hadn't quite gotten over, but belligerent, you know, doing what Ayr do and what we expected them to do. They just kept battering away at the line, and Sweeney really powerful under the post. And listen, it gives them a foothold in the game going into half-time and coming out for the second half.
Will they turn it around in the second half, do you think? 5 tries to 1.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think what the coaches will be looking at is just improve the performance. You know, they've still got a lot to play for going into next week. They want to just cut out some of those basic mistakes, apply some pressure, and see what happens on the scoreboard.
Too many of them, one eye on the final perhaps?
Possibly, you know, but you know, it's difficult to know why they make mistakes. You know, we said they've been playing so well. Sometimes these things happen. Watsons have taken every chance they've been given, but you know, I'm sure their coaches will be in there expecting them to win the second half, if nothing else, and carry a little bit of momentum forward to the final next week.
6 tries in the first half. What's going to happen in the second? It's coming up after this short break.
Welcome back to Myerside on a crisp afternoon in the Scottish capital, where Watsonians have raced away to a huge 24-point leads in that first half. And I can tell you that the Ayrshire Bulls coaching staff have resorted to some rather serious reinforcements. 5 changes made at the interval. Will bring you confirmation of who's on and who's off in the next minute or two, but certainly a real salvage job for the FOSROC Super 6 finalists will be required if they're to take anything from this encounter. As things stand, Watsonians bringing to an end a barren 4-game losing run, having started the season so well, having beaten the Bulls in the opening round of the campaign. At the moment, they are well on course for a bonus point win and home advantage in their 3rd/4th playoff against Stirling County next weekend. Here come the Bulls, and they have it all to do in this second half. Elias Caven hasn't seen as much of the ball as he or the Bulls coaching staff would have liked. Only a couple of counter-attacking opportunities for him, but he is somebody that can provide the spark they need. try and claw their way back into this game. Watsonians, though, are in charge at the moment. Sam Daly in the middle of your shot. The tattoos and the wrist tape. A scoring run off and running on 12 minutes with a barnstorming try off a goal line dropout. And they are rampant as the sun begins to peek through the clouds in Edinburgh.
Just waiting for the TV. Thank you. Time on.
So Don Kutzer gets the second half underway, and it's an awkward restart, just about taken by the Ayrshire Bulls. And here's Captain Blair McPherson off the bench at half-time, wearing the 16 jersey, straight into the heart of the action. Joe Reynolds has let that slip through his fingers, and there's an immediate shift in momentum as the new half begins.
Okay, you step off there, boys.
So Ayrshire Bulls more or less emptying their bench at half-time. Rodri Tanner off at hooker to be replaced by Alex Maguire. Blair McPherson on for Ryan Sweeney, who scored that try. Brink of half-time in the back row. Tom Lanny's been replaced as well by Christian Townsend.
Yeah, that's fine.
Michael Scott as well. Replacement prop brought on. At the moment, Watsonians making a mess of the line out and probing, pushing them away backwards. Gavin Lowe.
Stop block, stop!
Good old torpedo plug. Not enough of those in rugby these days. Here's Daly. Watsonians have proven deadly on the counter-attack. So dangerous from kick receipts this afternoon. Reynolds, Graham Slaw, colossal human being, Sam Graham Slaw. Cullen, Reynolds, double pump of the ball, almost put Kutzer through a hole. Now for him to play scrum half. Another big carry, another big man. Ball, King, Matthew Curry. Straightens and steps inside Everard, and Curry pins his ears back. And shackled in the end by Gavin Wilson. Watsonians through Muncaster and a very clever out-to-in line. But over the ball is Jamie Drummond. A Scotland age grade international, the squat figure, with a little hooker. And he's won his side a big penalty.
Yeah, it was an important turnover there from Drummond, wasn't it? Watson's just seemed to be building a bit of momentum, finding one or two little holes in their defence, but a really good turnover in the end for Jamie Drummond. Allow them just to relieve a bit of pressure, start again from the line-out.
Very much an Ayrshire boy, Jamie Drummond, born in Auchinleck.
That's your mark,
and his
boys.
rugby career at Cumnacar FC, where Scotland international Mark Bennett, of course, hails from as well. And works on the family farm down in that part of the world when not playing for the Bulls. Now first introduction for Jamie Drummond was successful. First line out for Alex Maguire wasn't. This one is. Townsend, McPherson, absolute brute of a back row. That Watsonians just infringing. Looked like that penalty might have gone the other way initially.
Yeah, you're still involved in the tackle and you haven't rolled.
Good carry though from Blair McPherson, wasn't it? Very simple.
No.
Good line out win into midfield, and McPherson winning the gain line in sort of typical McPherson style, really.
Yeah, real stalwart Blair McPherson. He is a horribly hard man to tackle. That's why he scored so many tries. That's why he's top of the FOSROC Super6 try scoring charts, with 8 for the season.
Okay,
and
there's your
bet
mark.
against them,
Watson's on.
adding to that before the campaign is out. Are you surprised to see so many replacements at half-time, Graham, or does Pat McArthur need to get some minutes and some momentum into these guys before next week?
Yeah, I think that was probably the thinking, wasn't it? You know, the first half hadn't gone the way they wanted. They want to just turn around that momentum and build a little bit more confidence leading into the final next week.
Well, the line-out is scrappy, but it has worked in the end for the Bulls and for Bobby Beattie. Linac, Townsend, so we've seen the Townsend one-handed offload somewhere before. Caven scattering away. This is better from the Alloway side. Townsend again, Minogue, the second distributor. Tate has real pace. Graham Slaw closed the door quickly. Thornton grapples and steals a yard or two. Linac to Everard. Ayrshire Bulls are to mount some kind of comeback. They need to score and score quickly. A long, long way back. Blair McPherson leading the charge. Two-man tackle subdues the captain. Townsend challenges that gain line. Pulled it back well for Tate, who lost it. And Reynolds can't keep it in. Good defensive set from Watsonians.
They recovered really well, didn't they, Watsonians, from that initial fantastic bit of skill from Christian Townsend, creating space in a narrow blind side. As we say, they organised quickly, got the physicality back in the defensive line and managed to force that mistake from there.
How exciting a talent is young Christian Townsend. Scotland Ayrshire international, played for the under-20s pretty recently, and he's still only 19 and only just turned 19 at that.
Yeah, he played a year young, if you like, in the Six Nations tournament earlier in the summer. He's a really mature young man. He's got a good skill set. He's got a little bit of physicality as well. Probably unlike his dad, who hopefully won't mind me saying that. But yeah, great.
Just along there.
Yeah, a great prospect. A big year for him. Great to see him playing at this level, leading into hopefully, you know, Scotland under-20s again come the new year.
Watson's penalty at the scrum.
Number one collapse.
George Thornton adjudged to have pulled that one down. And that early flurry from the Ayrshire Bulls again is really well repelled by Watsonians. Feel that was a big moment, not conceding there for them.
Yeah, from the initial line break that we said, you know, created by Townsend, to not concede there, to regroup and then win that penalty at the scrum, allow them to relieve that pressure. That's hopefully allows them now to build their own momentum at the start of the second half.
We just had like a bit more stability before that hit. We just feel like our boys feel like they're moving a lot as we're hitting that hit, and we're on the back foot. Just like a half second longer.
Yeah, Bobby Beattie just
A
a little bit of treatments, some sort of head wound.
Something like that, yeah.
And there may be some shuffling required for Ayrshire Bulls. Bobby Beattie with blood streaming from his head.
Number 8's heads are in the scrum.
Going to have to be replaced at least temporarily. So on comes Murray Johnston, one of the FOSROC Super 6 permit players when the team is seriously injury depleted, as the Bulls have been. They were supposed to have Aaron McGowan on the bench as a replacement scrum half. He had a back injury, had to pull out, so Boroughmuir Bears kindly allowed Murray Johnston to come and play for the Bulls this afternoon. Just a few miles along from his home ground at Megatland. So Bobby Beattie off, Murray Johnston on. And Watsonians with a bit between their teeth again as Doncaster gathers at the second attempt. Reynolds, Curry, it's an awkward one, but Smith takes it well. Adam Tate shows him the outside cleverly, and the Bulls go quickly. Minogue stabs it downfield, but it's very, very well covered. Kreutzer, Badenhorst, it's a wild pass. Elms does well to hold it. Linac has to avoid his own physio, who's hurriedly escaping the big monsters in his midst. Minogue again trying to find that 50-22. Not quite. It is good field position nonetheless.
Yeah, just a bit of a scrappy start again to the second half, isn't it? One or two mistakes, not a lot of structure, but Ayr just at the moment winning the kicking battle, similar to, you know, Reynolds and Watson's in the first half, managing to build field position. Great kick from Minogue there, just pushing Watson's back, and they'll have to play out again.
Time off.
Watsonians have only scored 25 tries in the 9 matches leading up to this one, which is an average of less than 3 per game. We've got 5 in the bag in the opening half here. Does that signify a change in style of play, do you feel, Graham, or is it just the way that the throws of the game have gone?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think they always try to play good attacking rugby, Watsons, and you know, they just took every chance they were given in that first half. And we talked earlier about the importance of them building momentum and a bit of confidence, and so far so good. I'm sure the coaches spoke at half time about just trying to maintain that and continue to build through this half with next week in mind.
All right, yeah, good, thanks.
Stirling County the opposition for
That's perfect.
Fergus Pringle's men in the 3rd, 4th place playoff. Certainly looks like that will be taking place back here at Myerside rather than Bridgehoch, unless Bulls do something remarkable.
That's fine.
Ball did recover from that little blow, but he is going to be replaced anyway. And on comes big Quagga Fanika, South African born forwards, who is Scottish qualified and has played for the national under-20 sides. Came through the Golden Lions provincial side in Gauteng, South Africa. Badenhorst takes the lineouts. It's the Watsonians maul that's proven more compelling. It's much wanted Ayrshire counterparts. Cullen, who's played well too. Hands one on Tate. Stuttering start from Aaron Tate. He's so difficult to put away. Quick feet from the winger. Ferguson tops it on to Everard. Spent some time training with Glasgow Warriors this season, Tom Everard. And that's a lovely floated ball out to Wilson from Matt Minogue. Exploiting the edges. Watsonians again, dynamite the breakdown. Cullen has it back. Scrapped by Drummond. Now the Bulls pile in. Illegally so.
Really good turnover one there by Watsons. You know, wide ruck, they got numbers there quicker than Ayrshire Bulls. Stayed on the feet and just drove clean over the ball. So Ayr will be disappointed with that again, I think, but great turnover by the Watsons.
5 side out there.
It's a little bit loose. Found touch. Now Elias Caven can launch from deep. Townsend. Where's this bouncing? Straight back to the young pivot. Well played, Townsend. Maguire rescues it. And now a chance for Murray Johnston in his first touch as a Bull. And they find Kutzer. Can Watsonians cut this Bull side open again? Fanika to Williams. Badenhorst. Aimslaw's in there too. Kutzer. This is out Badenhorst. Curry draws 2 men. Gorgeous play from Matt Curry. Elms looks to apply the finishing touch, but he just skews that kick out on the full. And again we see the wonderful dexterity and intelligent footballing acumen of Matthew Curry. Graham, here he is.
Yeah, it was really nice, wasn't he? Attacked at pace, got his hands free nicely. In behind the contact and a great offload. I think Elms would be pretty disappointed there that he's not managed to keep that in play and maybe help himself to a third. Great bit of skill just before that as well from Christian Townsend, wasn't there? Seeing the spacing behind the defensive line, able to chip and regather. We've seen some great individual bits of skill today, certainly.
Yeah, that's Rory Jackson, the taller figure in your picture. Another man I reckon the Scottish rugby coaches are very excited about. A member of the FOSROC Academy aligned to Glasgow Warriors. A couple of caps for the under-20 side as well. And he did play for the Bulls in the inaugural FOSROC Super 6. That's Tom Everard down receiving some treatment. And again, Graham, he's a player who started every game in the regular season and has been really, really impressive for the Bulls.
Yeah, he's a big physical man, and you know, great endurance. To be able to start every game when the game's played at such pace and physicality these days is a real testament to his physical conditioning. And you know, he probably hurts every Monday, but he gets back into training and goes again.
It's loose again at that line out from the Bulls, and Wilson has to pop a mighty hit as he gathers the loose ball. Here's Everard. Started his career with the Toulouse Academy as a young pup. Quite the rugby education that would have been.
Stay on side, guys.
Lanac, massive pressure, and that is out on the full. It's just not happening for the Bulls, and Watsonians put the squeeze on once more.
Yeah, he's a bit unfortunate. He's just overcooked it. He's trying to pull the ball back towards the touchline to make it as difficult as possible for the Watsons receiver, and he's just overdone that by a yard or so. And Watson's another great opportunity to launch some attack just on the air 22.
Blood sub, yeah.
Well, Bobby Beattie has been sufficiently patched up. Some Vaseline on that scalp of his. And the former London Scottish back trots back on. So Murray Johnston's Ayrshire Bulls debut is cut short for now. Tricky one for Reynolds to take, and Carol Main has to go back and deal with it. Poor old Rhys Cullen has been absolutely swamped by this massive Bulls pack. And Graham, that is the stuff of nightmares for a scrum half, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be tidying up that sort of thing. But, you know, reminiscent of the Watsons turnover on the touchline 1 or 2 minutes ago, Ayr got players there quicker, were more aggressive, and managed to, you know, just drive over the ball and affect the turnover.
Chatting back to opposition like that, consider this a warning. If you do it again, we'll reverse the penalty, okay? It's unsportsmanlike, we don't need it. Okay, time on. Off feet, number 9.
Yeah, Keith Allen just to make sure that the naughty schoolboys in his midst follow the classroom rules. And it's been a bitty old start to the second half. A lot of penalties, a lot of errors. Not a great deal of free-flowing rugby so far. Watsonians have done a good job of spoiling this Bulls line out. Alex Maguire, who's been the first choice hooker for much of the season, now on in place of Rodri Tanner. There's his accuracy this time. Not that great over the top of Everards. It's well rescued by Jamie Drummond, but he's been turned over. And Cullen chases Cavan back with the box kick. Now Gavin Lowe, Townsend, looking to run that arc. Introduces Bobby Beattie back into proceedings. Loose at the base. And Watsonians through very, very quickly. Well rescued by the visitors. And fed on by McPherson to Everard, who runs a really nice line. Blair McPherson being held back by Carol Main off the ball. Still the Bulls come through Minogue. Now Maguire out on the edge. Very mobile front rower. Jackson, speaking of mobility, big rangy forward Rory Jackson. Last, the Bulls go through some phases. Townsend to Minogue, read by Michael Badenhorst, who was up like a scalded cat to deal with him. And it's a penalty to Watsonians as well, handling on the floor. And it's all spilling over a little bit. Thornton and Badenhorst grappling with each other, and Keith Allen has a little bit of sorting out to do at the end of this very restrained melee.
Step away. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a great read from Daly there initially, the ball going out the back from Townsend to Minogue, and Daly read it really well to get up, put Minogue down behind the gain line, which won that initial penalty. So good defence there. We don't necessarily need to see the handbags and the push in there after, but there we go.
Yeah, much ado about nothing. I'm sure Keith Allen will have a little word with his assistants here. Let's listen in.
16 black, we're getting up involved off the ball. No foul play, just step out.
Okay. Okay. So 7 red, 16 black, please. Listen.
I was in the touchline.
I know.
I'm going to talk to him.
Where is it? This guy here. Come here. And number 1. 1. Come here. Okay. Boys, we didn't see exactly what started it. What's transpired is not good for the game, okay? We can't have another all-in like that. If it does happen again, people are going to go to the bin, okay? It ends here and we move on, okay? Thank you. Yes, I know. Yeah, but you were involved, okay? So just don't do it. Okay.
Just a stern warning from Keith Allen that further
in
indiscretions will result in some time on the naughty step for the perpetrators. As things stand, Joe Reynolds has not made touch into the teeth of the Edinburgh busts. John Lanack has also not made touch. Rhys Cullen, did he get a little fingertip on that one? He did indeed. Cavan goes fast, but Keith Allen is not going to allow them to go that fast.
Yeah. You can't go quick, it's been touched by another player, but it is a black ball, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, I think Reynolds will be a little bit disappointed with that. A great opportunity to put real pressure back onto the Ayr team there, and you know, one or two little mistakes that Watsons weren't making in the first half, just creeping into the game at the moment.
Okay. There's your mark, lads, on that.
Well, that was the last act for Rhys Cullen. An auspicious end to what's been a really impressive performance by the scrum half. Here comes Rowan Frostwick, and Fergus Pringle's changed his entire front row as well, as Matt Minogue fumbles. In fact, the perfect time to change an entire front row, because the first act will be a scrummage. So Graham Slot, Davis and Williams all off.
A lot of new faces in the front row.
Harrison Courtney, Ross Graham and Nathan Burrell coming on in that Watsonians front row. It's a good time to bring on front row reinforcements.
Yeah, freshen things up. I mean, obviously we talked about the scrum battle in the first half. It'll be interesting to see how it fares now that most of the original starting front six, or sorry, the front rows for both teams have gone off. I'm sure the guys who come on obviously will be looking to continue and maintain that dominance that Watsons perhaps had for a lot of the first half.
Come on, this side. Yeah. What's that, sir? Okay, same scrum. Both of you. Let's get
There's a really good pedigree among those front row replacements for Watsonians as well. Ross Graham, the hooker's been outstanding this season, had spells with Edinburgh and Glasgow without ever quite breaking into the senior first 15 of either pro side. Harrison Courtney, Scottish qualified New Zealander, who spent time in the Canterbury setup. Famous, storied production line of New Zealand rugby talents. Nathan Burrell, another experienced campaigner who hails from France. But, curse of the commentator, after I've just pumped up their tyres, the first act is concede a penalty.
Straight across the scrum.
It's an instance on that. Watsons actually looked like they had the nudge on there. Not often that team going forward in the scrum are penalised, but I'm sure Mr. Allen knows what he's doing there.
I think the two of us are happy to trust his judgment on that, on that one, Graham.
You're initially fine, you've only got dominance from going across.
Further illustrates the stop-start nature of this second half. Can the Bulls finally exert some concerted pressure, get themselves into the red zone, get themselves over at Watsonians try line? They look to carry that Maguire throw backwards, but the officials let it go. Maguire has it once more at the back. Carol Mains come right through the middle. Illegally though, the maul sack. Minogue, that's a clever kick. BT after it, wonderful pick-up and pass back to Minogue. Lovely slick handling from the Bulls' backs. Lanack, Townsend straightens. Big tackle from Badenhorst. Again, Watsonians counter-ruck well. There's McPherson twirling around like a big Ayrshire tornado. Maguire. Better from Ayrshire, much better. Drummond has a crack himself. Round the corner they come. Lanac to Townsend to Beattie. Runs such clever lines at inside centre, Bobby Beattie. This time it's George Thornton. Plenty of professional experience in this Bulls pack. Everard held up just short. Still it's there for them. And fighting their way to the try line. Fine last-ditch defence from Watsonians. Townsend has to check and step and gets over for the try. Wonderful awareness and vision from the Bulls replacement. His outside options being cut down at a rate of knots. But he has the fleetness of deed and of foot to duck under the tackles and score for the Bulls.
Yeah, it's a good try, isn't it? A good team try. They built pressure, they went through the phases, won the gain line battle, and as you say, really good footwork from young Christian Townsend there. Good decision making not to try and throw the pass to the outside, which was under pressure, and good footwork and strength through the tackle to get over.
He bumped off 2 second rows there, Christian Townsend. Got inside Falkirk and Michael Badenhorst as well. Really well finished. And now Matthew Minogue to further reduce the arrears. Here she goes. Still a long way back for the Bulls. Starting to produce something of a comeback. Show something of an attacking pulse. And both sides are going to their bench again. George Thornton is off at loose head for the Bulls. So on comes Craig Miller. Number 17. Sam Daly is replaced. Scored the first try of the match all the way back on the 12th minute. By Campbell Wilson.
It's backwards,
it's loose from Bobby Beattie. Did go backwards. Jordan Lanac.
That's ripped.
His first day as skipper has been replaced as well. So Murray Johnston, who was on earlier for that blood replacement for Bobby Beattie, has come on. Lanac making way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the game goes now. Both teams, as you said, emptying the bench. Sometimes it can get a little bit scrappy as a result with a huge number of changes all at the same time, but Ayr will be looking to build on this momentum that they'll feel they've got in the game now. Just keep putting the pressure on Watsons, trying to chip away at that score, and if nothing else, just build a little bit of confidence back up again going into the final next week.
First line out throw of the afternoon then for Ross Graham. Couple of tries for the season. Hits his man very well in Michael Badenhorst.
Once.
Here come Watsons then. Scott King, Joe Reynolds, Don Coetzer, side through the midfield. Coetzer could go all the way here. Elms with him, and he's thrown it to Cavan. Again, the ease at which Watsonians are slicing through this Bulls side will be of some concern to the visiting coaches. Coetzer just couldn't quite apply the killer touch at the end. Johnston, awkward one to get rid of. He's done pretty well to make that amount of ground.
Yeah, great set piece attack, wasn't it, from Watsons there. And Coetzer, as you say, will be very disappointed that he passes it straight to Cavan rather than finding, I think it was Harvey Elms on the outside, who'd be hoping for his hat-trick.
Just missing that last pass from Coetzer. Such promising signs for Watsonians. If only they'd found this form a few weeks ago. It'll be them in the final next Sunday. As it is, they're playing for third place. They've got the home playoff secured, and they're looking to add gloss to the scoreline with Elms. Brilliant handling. Reynolds has to kick it under pressure. There's this one bouncing. The goal line dropout. Flo unable to run it out himself. interesting dynamic, this new law variation. This was wonderful handling here from Reynolds and Elms.
Yeah, great footwork from Harvey Elms just to get back on the inside of Cavan, and a great support line as well from Reynolds, who continued onto the outside, and just a bit unfortunate the kick went a yard or two far.
Yeah, Minogue slammed it long. Here's Ben Muncaster. Tackle from Everard had to be as well. Reynolds, Elms, and just that little stutter, that little jink inside that fixes defenders so well. Courtney, backwards. Reynolds again as Watsonians cultivate an overlap. Big carry from Nathan Burrell. It's Bobby Beattie on his backside. Curry lurking in the wide expanses. Another slicing, angling run from the Watsonians back, and it's yet another home try. Once more, the attacking elan of Fergus Pringle's side comes to the fore, and Matt Curry gets over.
Yeah, there didn't appear to be too much on there, to be fair, when Matt Curry got the ball, but stepped off his left foot on the inside shoulder, and again the strength and the pace we talked about in the first half to run away from the defence. He looks like he's got a bit of cramp now. Long day at the office for his first game back, but yeah, great strength, little handoff and the pace to get in the corner. Great try.
You'd imagine Mike Blair will be watching this somewhere, licking his lips at the prospect of unleashing him at the right time this season on United Rugby Championship duty. You get the feeling he could go very, very well in this new look Edinburgh Rugby side. And as it is, having a fine afternoon in his first FOSROC Super 6 outing of the campaign. This is a tricky one for Reynolds, as you can tell by the tufts of hair. It's a blustery old day in Edinburgh. And Reynolds just off target once again. Not that it's going to matter today. 6 tries in the bag for Watsonians.
Okay, that's fine.
And I guess the only frustrating thing for Fergus Pringle will be the fact that his side haven't been able to produce this level of performance even just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be sitting in the stands watching this, as you say, wondering where it's been for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But you know, if nothing else, they just want to keep playing like this and finish the season strongly, as we said, next week. So they'll be glad it's come back now. If not, as you said, frustrated that over the last 4 or 5 weeks they've not really been anywhere near this sort of level.
On his feet, pulling on.
The penalty count continues to rise at an alarming rate for the Pat MacArthur stroke Pete Horn coach side. As Reynolds finds touch, Fergus Pringle is looking to his bench once more. And comes young Mark Morrison, the Scottish qualified South African fly half with the distinctive blonde locks. And young Angus Hoffey as well, first outing in the FOSROC Super 6 for the young George Watson schoolboy. A late addition to the home bench today. A couple of injury issues. There's young Angus Hoffey. So Matt Curry, having nursed that cramp, is off.
Knock on.
Harvey Elms as well making way.
Knock on.
Harvey maybe a little bit disappointed there. He'd have fancied a hat-trick, but as you say, great to see a George Watson pupil coming through the system, a regional academy player, making his debut at this level for his home club, if you like.
Thank you.
Why do you think the second half has been as scrappy and disjointed as it has been, Graham?
You know, it's difficult to put your finger on it. I mean, I think Ayr have been slightly better. Watsons have maybe, after such a strong first half, they've just made 1 or 2 of the mistakes that Ayr were making in the first half, and it's just never really got going, unfortunately.
Let's come straight out the tunnel. Reset.
Sometimes difficult to put your finger on the reasons. The players obviously aren't intending to make these mistakes or make the game scrappy, but you know what, have we got another 10 minutes to go? Maybe we can finish with a little bit more consistency and some more good rugby.
Yeah, it feels like we're being a bit greedy. We have seen 8 tries today, in fairness.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Keith Allen
Sorry, lads.
eyeing the scrummage very closely.
Bring it in a bit. No, that's here. Alright, gotta get this right, okay? Both of you boys have to get it right. Stay square, bind on the body, drive straight.
Got you, brother.
Crouch.
Sink.
Bind. Set.
Ayrshire Bulls scored 35 tries heading into round 10. Only mustered 2 today. Being bullied and bulldozed at scrum time by this Watson's pack.
Let's leave it, lads. Up we go. Up we go.
Allen again having to play mediator between the heavyweights up front. It's not quite Fury and Wilder, but
collapse by Black.
I wouldn't fancy getting in between those big front rows myself.
Ayr will be disappointed with that, I think. Their own put in, and we talked about the pride they have in their set piece, so they'll be bitterly disappointed with that. Look to put that right next scrum, I would think.
So it's Watsonians again, effectively playing with house money at this stage. A win in the bag, looking to add to their 6-try haul. Here they go, Ross Graham, trademark carry from the hooker. Really good clear out from scrum half Frostwick. Muncaster spotting the side tacklers. Easy to forget how young he is. Inside ball now. Well taken on by Hoffey. Main, pull back to Morrison. Numbers here for Watsonians. There's Kutzer, just about shackled by Matt Minogue. Main again is that pivot player. Feeds it on to Muncaster. Good back row access there. Wide it goes from King to Reynolds. It's 3v2, but it's through the hands of Michael Badenhorst. I'm sure Angus Hoffey would have loved a run in at the corner there.
Sure, Mark. Sure, Mark, guys.
Just continuing the scrappy nature we were just talking about, isn't it? Unfortunately, Watsons looked like they were building up a nice head of steam, and then a little bit of a poor pass there from Joe Reynolds at the end when they looked like they were creating something quite exciting.
Blair, we need you in front.
There is Nathan Burrell. He looks very much like a prop, doesn't he? Bald head, beard, barrel chest. He's a Frenchman, but he is a veteran of Scottish club rugby. Won the old Premiership back with Heriots in 2015. A little shunt on Frostwick there from Alex Maguire, and Keith Allen has seen it.
No, it's a push.
Not quite sly enough
Just here.
from the Bulls replacements.
Black, push the player, stop and catch on the ball.
Not really punching in the same weight division there. That's just a little bit shoddy from Mark Morrison. Trying to go right for the corner flag itself. Managed to kick it dead. A bit disappointing from the replacement. He is just on. He will hold himself to higher standards than those.
Yeah, Watsons will be looking to do a number on their scrum again, I think, after the success they had at the last put-in. They are similarly be desperate to make sure they secure this and try and get some field position of their own.
Good this side. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Their scrum was bullied last time. It's not on this occasion. Blair McPherson, who's done plenty of bullying this season. Townsend for Beattie. And away they come through low. Now Tate looking to burn past Smith on the outside. Recovery. Watsonians defender Drummond slammed backwards. spitting back out of that contact. McPherson, even the captain, not making the requisite yards at the moment. And again, it's loose at the base. Tate. Carl Main not being fooled by the dancing feet. Townsend to Minogue. He's having to play ball carrier. It's not really Matt Minogue's game. Everard. What he's about, the bludgeoning side of things.
You're off your feet, you're off your feet.
BT. Oh, and Reynolds almost had it away.
No.
Come back for a Bulls penalty.
You did. Number 7, Chap.
Really strong defensive from Watsonians, winning the gain line here, being forced to play from positions and maybe not necessarily comfortable doing so. And unfortunately just giving away a penalty which will allow here to relieve a little bit of pressure.
On the line, please.
Very unfortunate member of the Watsonians backroom staff just got absolutely clattered by that penalty clearance off the bench in the front row, straight in the coupon. And hopefully for his sake our cameras didn't quite pick that one up. Maguire's throw, Everard's take. Johnston to Wilson, Minogue can't hold it, and it's been Ayrshire Bulls' performance in microcosm. You get that little glimmer of hope, that little bit of momentum with the penalty and the line-outs, and then the inaccuracy plagues them. And Graham, as we wait for this break and play, it's the perfect time for me to come to you and ask your FOSROC Super 6 player of the match today.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of good performances in the Watsonians team. Rhys Cullen was a threat with ball in hand. Harvey Elm obviously scored a couple of tries. But for me, making his first appearance of the season, Matt Curry, man of the match. He was a real danger every time he touched the ball, scored a great try, created another. So for me, his performance earns him man of the match this afternoon.
Okay, there is Matt Curry, still in his kit in the centre of your picture there. Looking very languid and relaxed, and might well he do so after his afternoon's work. Meanwhile, Ben Muncaster has just galloped into acres of unguarded space. Down the blind side he went. Main does really well to scramble the ball back to Clogger van Niekerk. Frostwick. Graham. Morrison to Reynolds. Again, just holding and weaving his way through the defenders.
It's a late tackle.
It was an infringement, a late tackle. And again, Watsonians can just knock it into the corner and try and end this game with yet another try.
Fantastic break off the back of the scrum there by Muncaster. Quick, powerful, really putting Watsons on the front foot.
Be careful.
So Reynolds rather than Morrison goes for the corner. Caven did keep it in, but it did go forwards.
So knock on,
and in fact, that's a real sickener for Ayrshire. It was knocked on and picked up by a man in front, so it's a penalty. And Ross Graham, tap and go, as is tradition for the hooker. The Watsonians trying to muscle and power their way over from close range. They've scored some belters from distance today. Can they apply the squeeze and get over from a couple of metres out? Van Niekerk has a shot. Bulls stand firm for now, but for how much longer can their defence hold out? Muncaster locks and loads those big quads of his. He's got support with him, and the try is given. And that is the power, that is the prowess of the young Edinburgh man. Fantastic way to cap a fine individual performance.
Yeah, good score, as you say, different score to the ones we saw in the first half there, but reminiscent of Sweeney's score for Ayr just before half-time. Building pressure, keeping control of the ball, and eventually, you know, from a yard out, powerful leg drive, Ayrshire just couldn't keep him out.
Future Scotland international, do you feel? Early days, I know, but if I put you on the spot.
Yeah, early days, but listen, he's a big physical man, so you know he's in a great environment where he's going to be learning off some fantastic back row players at his club with Edinburgh, and if he continues to improve, and work hard, then he's got every opportunity, I think.
An early birthday present for Ben Muncaster, who turns 20 on Thursday. What a career he could have in front of him. Joe Reynolds lashes over the conversion. So if he waited another few seconds, he might have ended the game, but we have time for the restart. And the Bulls with one last chance to finish with a flourish.
And your FOSROC Super6 player of the match this week is number 13, Jeremy.
Carl Main just about gathers that one on the floor. He's done so much of that today. Such a good grovelling open side flanker, always there when you need him. And Watsons don't look like they want to kick this out, they want to play. They've lost it forwards, and Drummond gets those little squat legs of his pumping and then pumps the offloads into touch. And that will bring an end to proceedings here at Myerside. It's been a dominant, a devastating performance from the home side. They have racked up an eye-watering volume of tries, 7 of them in total. That grim 4-game losing streak comes to a thundering end on home soil, and they will be back here, back at home against Stirling County in the 3rd, 4th playoff final in just 6 days' time. It wasn't to be for Ayrshire Bulls today. They end the tournament in 2nd place in the table, but of course they had their place in the final booked, and they have a bigger Borders fish to fry when the Southern Knights come north to Edinburgh Rugby's Dam Health Stadium on Sunday to contest the FOSROC Super6 final. But today belongs to Watsonians, it belongs to the hosts, it belongs to Matt Curry, the FOSROC Super6 player of the match. Fantastic on his return from injury in his first outing of the campaign. And it is Watsonians who have won this one convincingly by 43 points to 14.
Hold on.
Let's take a look at some of the best of the action, and it started all the way back in the 12th minute with Sam Daly slaloming, powering, barnstorming his way under the Ayrshire sticks from a goal line dropout. And really, Graham, that set the tone for the afternoon.
Yeah, it did. Fantastically powerful run from Daly to get Watsons in front early on, and as you say, from there on in the first half, Ayr couldn't really get into the game, and Watsons went from strength to strength. Yeah,
a player with plenty high calibre experience, Sam Daly. This was lovely handling from Reynolds. Bulls will be disappointed with those tackles though on King as he went in for try number 2.
Yeah, reminiscent of Daly's try, wasn't it? Not fantastic defence, but you know, strong running, great support line from Scott King, and he had the strength and the footwork to make those tackles difficult and get over. And this again, a loose one from Callaghan and picked up by Rory Smith. My apologies to Rory Smith and any of his relatives who are watching. I did call him Matt Curry. He's had plenty of glory today, but this one did belong to the Watsonians winger. Wasn't due to be playing today, but that is really opportunistic stuff, Graham. Yeah, Ayr had actually created the overlap, hadn't they? But great anticipation from Smith to come in and cut that pass off, and then, as we said at the time, great pace to hold off Cavan, who was chasing him all the way. Now here's some Matt Curry magic. How's this for a chip and chase? Harvey Elms gathers and scores. Well, that's the finish as well, and he showed great strength and a great support line initially, speed to get into space, and then the vision to put the ball perfectly in Harvey Elms' path. A great try. It's a clever kick, that. End over end, bounces up so nicely for Elms. Yeah, the rugby ball can bounce weirdly at times, but he got that one spot on, and as you say, Elms in the right place at the right time. Yeah, once more Elms with this blistering carry to within a metre or so of the try line. Quick ball from Cullen to Carl Main, who I have to say was absolutely everywhere today, wasn't he? Yeah, attack and defence, Carl Main was good, wasn't he? Very, very physical, and listen, the right man in the right place at that point. Not going to stop him from a yard out, I don't think. Yeah, went through a couple of tackles of Jackson and Everard, and Ayrshire Bulls right on half-time did have something to cheer, although it was to be a consolation. This is a well-worked score for Ryan Sweeney. Yeah, it's what we've come to expect from Ayr, I think. Applying pressure, strong runners, attacking the gain line, and eventually Sweeney got over, and you know, at that point gave them a little bit of a foothold in the game going into half time, and they were a little bit more liked themselves at the start of the second half, weren't they?
Yeah, there's a depleted Ayrshire side. You'd imagine Sweeney will go back to blindside flanker next week. But this, with his dad Gregor watching, lovely piece of skill and a great finish from Christian Townsend.
Yeah, as we say, started the second half slightly better. They've been powerful in that phase of play. They'd kept the ball for a bit, and Townsend made a great decision not to try and force the pass to the outside, and good footwork and strength to ride a couple of tackles and get over.
Yeah, perhaps a glimpse of things to come for Christian Townsend. But of course it was Matt Curry who stole the show, and this was a wonderful try again. Great individual work.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot on, as we said at the time when he got the ball, but spotted the drift defence, stepped well back on the inside, and as we've said all day, strength and power and speed to get over in the corner.
Yeah, such an athlete, Matt Curry, but also a really clever rugby player. And again, Carl Main there making a real nuisance of himself. And once more the Watsonians defence really compelling. Carl Main at the heart of it. Matt Curry at the heart of it as well. This is the last try right on full time for Ben Muncaster. What power in those legs after 80 minutes of rugby.
Yeah, and a different try, wasn't it? We've seen the flash stuff, Watsonians in the first half, and Matt Curry scoring from long range. This was just real belligerent forward play. Kept the ball for a few phases, and as you say, great leg drive. Well supported by, not sure who it was who helped push him over the line in the end, but good score.
An irresistible blend of panache and power from Watsonians rugby today. They have prevailed by 43 points to 14, and we come back live on Free Sports. We'll hear from the FOSROC Super 6 player of the match, Matt Curry.
Welcome back. A great win for Watsonians here at Marside over Ayrshire Bulls. They were needing it because they had no momentum going into this game, but my goodness, did they ever win, and they won with aplomb. 43 points to 14 it finished here, and I'm delighted to introduce you to the FOSROC Super 6 player of the match, Matt Curry. Matt, congratulations. A fine performance from you.
Yeah, no, I have to put it all down to the team. You know, we came into the game knowing we needed a big performance, and first half we put it out there. I think took our foot off the throttle a wee bit in the second, but yeah, pulled through in the end. It's great to see. You must have been really frustrated the last few weeks because, you know, you've been playing some good rugby, but you haven't been getting the wins, and you really needed to put yourself in contention for the final. Yeah, we knew we kind of put ourselves in a position when we could win, but the past few games haven't really gone our way, and then coming into this one we just wanted to bring a real energy and just put everything out on the field leading into the playoff to give us a bit of confidence, and I think we did that. And how tough was it when you knew that, you know, you had such great momentum towards the beginning of the season, yet you were falling away from it? How were you able to turn that around week on week when you weren't getting those victories? Yeah, no, it was quite hard, to be fair, but you know, it's all about keeping the boys' heads up in the dressing room, coming to training, doing our part, and just learning our stuff. And then when it comes to the games, just you got to put it out there. So it was good to see today. And of course, you know, now you've got your home third versus fourth playoff against Stirling County as well. How big a deal will the home advantage be? Yeah, it's massive. Hopefully get a few fans down on Friday night, and hopefully it'll work and we can put a result out there. And obviously you had a really good, you know, team performance, a squad performance as well today. So, and I guess you'll be going deeper into the squad next week as well, because this competition really has been all about that, hasn't it? Yeah, no, we've got good depth in the squad, and all boys can play and they can put the performance we need on the pitch. So hopefully next week we just train well and then lead into Friday and get a win. Well, Matt Curry, congratulations. You are the FOSROC Super 6 player of the match. Just going to give you the little medal there. Yes, yeah. That's Angus Williams there to give you the little fantastic big smile to the camera there, and absolutely loving it there. Congratulations, he is the player of the match. And let me remind you of the positions in the league at the end of all of that. We've played so many games in the Super 6, and so far this is what it looks like. And that bonny little thing, Southern Knights remain top of the table. Ayrshire Bulls, of course, didn't get the victory today as the monitor almost blows off the table. Watsonians finishing third. They'll get that home semi-final against Stirling County, and Heriots and Boroughmuir Bears towards the bottom end there. And let's remind us of the matches that we'll see next week. And here we are. And the matches are as such. We'll know that we have a final there. It's Watsonians against Southern Knights. It'll be the fourth. Sorry, that's actually wrong. It's Watsonians will play against Stirling County. Heriots will play against Boroughmuir Bears, and then Southern Knights will play against Ayrshire Bulls in the final at 1:30. We will be live at 1 o'clock on FreeSports next Sunday for that final. It's Southern Knights against Ayrshire Bulls after an incredible competition and after an incredible match here today. Thank you so much for your company. Bye for now.